The Senate will come to order. The Secretary will call the roll.
Senator Buck. Senator Cannizzaro. Senator Cruz Crawford. Senator Daley. Senator Dignate. Senator Dondero Loop. Senator Ellison. Senator Flores. Senator Hansen. Senator Krasner. Senator Lang. Senator Neal. Senator Wynn. Senator Orangehall. Senator Pizzina. Senator Rogish. Senator Scheibel. Senator Steinbeck. Senator Stone. Senator Taylor. Senator Titus.
Senator Cannizzaro.
Thank you, Mr. President. Please mark Senator Orangehall absent excused.
Thank you. Let the record reflect there are 20 senators present. Please rise for the prayer by Rabbi Levi Sputz, Shabbat of Carson City, Nevada, and remain standing for the Pledge of Allegiance.
Almighty God, today, as the legislative leaders of Nevada gather to carry out their sacred responsibility to serve the people, we ask for your blessing. Grant them clarity of mind, strength of character, and compassion of heart as they work for the good of all citizens. Today marks a special moment, Pesach Sheni, the second Passover. When individuals in the time of Moses missed the first Passover, you granted them a second chance. This reminds us that no one is ever too distant, too late, or too lost. This day affirms that it is never too late to return, to try again, to be included. May this message inspire us all, leaders and citizens alike, to lead with empathy, to legislate with hope, and to never give up on any individual or community. May our society reflect this principle, that everyone deserves the opportunity to grow, to belong, and to make a meaningful contribution. Bless these senators and their work. May their efforts bring light, justice, and unity to our great state of Nevada and beyond. Amen.
I pledge allegiance
to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Order of Business 3, reading and approval of the journal. By previous order of the Senate, the reading of the journal is dispensed with, and the President and Secretary are authorized to make necessary corrections and additions. Order of Business 4, reports of committees.
Mr. President, your Committee on Commerce and Labor, to which are referred Assembly Bills numbers 21, 116, 142, 196, 258, 280, 305, 407, 498, and 510, has had the same under consideration and begs leave to report the same back with the recommendation do pass. Signed, Senator Julie Pizzina, Chair. Mr. President, your Committee on Education, to which were referred Assembly Bills numbers 289 and 394, has had the same under consideration and begs leave to report the same back with the recommendation amend and do pass as amended. Signed, Senator Angela Taylor, Chair. Mr. President, your Committee on Health and Human Services, to which was referred Assembly Bill number 50, has had the same under consideration and begs leave to report the same back with the recommendation do pass. Signed, Senator Fabian Dignate, Chair. Mr. President, your Committee on Judiciary, to which were referred Assembly Bills numbers 17, 18, 30, 97, 150, 153, 329, and 518, has had the same under consideration and begs leave to report the same back with the recommendation do pass. Signed, Senator Melanie Scheibel, Chair. End of reports.
Order of Business 6, messages from the Assembly.
Assembly Chamber, Carson City, May 8th, 2025. To the Honorable the Senate, I have the honor to inform your honorable body that the Assembly amended and on this day passed as amended Senate Bill number 352, Amendment number 552, and respectfully request your honorable body to concur in said amendment. Signed, Jason Hadaway, Assistant Chief Clerk of the Assembly. End of messages.
Order of Business 12, second reading.
Senate Bill 161, introduced by Senator Wynn, revises provisions relating to local government employees. The people of the state of Nevada, represented in Senate and Assembly, to enact as follows, Section 1 into Section 1.
Are there any amendments?
There are none.
SB 161 is ordered to the general file.
Assembly Bill 39, introduced by the Assembly Committee on Education, revises provisions governing charter schools. The people of the state of Nevada, represented in Senate and Assembly, to enact as follows, Section 1 into Section 1.
Are there any amendments?
There are none.
AB 39 is ordered to the general file.
Assembly Bill 48, introduced by the Assembly Committee on Education, revises provisions relating to bullying. The people of the state of Nevada, represented in Senate and Assembly, to enact as follows, Section 1 into Section 1.
Are there any amendments?
There are none.
AB 48 is ordered to the general file.
Assembly Bill 501, introduced by Assembly members Yeager and Howdegee, authorizes certain pupils to receive academic credit for completing certain outdoor recreational activities. The people of the state of Nevada, represented in Senate and Assembly, to enact as follows, Section 1 into Section 1.
Are there any amendments?
There are none.
AB 501 is ordered to the general file.
Assembly Bill 521, introduced by the Assembly Committee on Health and Human Services, revises provisions relating to the protection of children. The people of the state of Nevada, represented in Senate and Assembly, to enact as follows, Section 1 into Section 1.
Are there any amendments?
There are none.
AB 521 is ordered to the general file.
That concludes Order of Business 12.
Order of Business 13, general file.
Assembly Bill 306, introduced by Assembly Members Yeager, et cetera, revises provisions relating to elections. People of the state of Nevada, represented in Senate and Assembly, to enact as follows, Section 1 into Section 1.
Are there any amendments?
There are none. Section 5 into Section 5, end of bill.
Senator Daley.
Thank you, Mr. President. Assembly Bill 306 requires county clerks in certain counties for the period beginning the day after the last day of early voting and ending the day before Election Day to establish a certain number of mail ballot drop box locations that must be open for at least 7 hours a day. The bill additionally requires ballot drop boxes to be monitored at all times when made available for use and secured during any period when not available for use. The Secretary of State must adopt regulations to establish requirements for monitoring and securing ballot drop boxes. Thank you.
Any further remarks from the floor? Seeing none, the Secretary will open the roll. Anyone wish to change their vote? Seeing none, the Secretary will close the roll. Yeses are 12, the noes are 8. AB 306 has received the constitutional majority, is declared passed, and ordered to the Assembly.
Assembly Bill 523, introduced by the Assembly Committee on Growth and Infrastructure, revises provisions relating to transportation. The people of the state of Nevada, represented in Senate and Assembly, to enact as follows, Section 1 into Section 1.
Are there any amendments?
There are none. Section 4 into Section 4, end of bill.
Senator Wynn.
Thank you, Mr. President. Assembly Bill 523 reduces the minimum amount of transportation network company insurance that a transportation network company, driver, or monitored autonomous vehicle provider must maintain under certain circumstances from $1.5 million to $1 million. The bill provides that a transportation network company or a delivery network company is not vicariously liable for any act or omission of a driver that harms a person or property under any theory of liability or duty of care. Additionally, the bill limits for any driver who uses a personal vehicle, which is a motor vehicle, the applicability of the bill's provisions to a delivery network company that maintained a motor vehicle insurance policy in the amount of not less than $1 million at the time of the incident giving rise to the action. The amendatory provisions of this act do not apply to a cause of action that arises before October 1, 2025.
Any remarks from the floor? Seeing none, the Secretary will open the roll. Anyone wish to change their vote? Seeing none, the Secretary will close the roll. The yeses are 19, the noes are 1. AB 523 has received the constitutional majority, is declared passed and ordered to the Assembly.
Assembly Bill 530, introduced by the Assembly Committee on Growth and Infrastructure, revises provisions relating to the imposition by certain counties of additional taxes on fuels for motor vehicles. The people of the state of Nevada, represented in Senate and Assembly, to enact as follows, Section 1 into Section 1.
Are there any amendments?
There are none. Section 2, this act becomes effective upon passage and approval. End of bill.
Senator Wynn.
Thank you, Mr. President. Assembly Bill 530 revises fuel tax increase implementation in counties with over 700,000 residents. It initially requires no further action by the Board of County Commissioners until December 31st, 2026 in order to effectuate the annual increase. After that date, the board must approve such increase by 2/3 majority vote by December 31st, 2026 for the period between January 1, 2027 and December 31st, 2036. Beginning January 1, 2037, annual increases may not be implemented unless a majority of the voters approve a ballot question at a general election in November of 2036.
Any remarks from the floor? Seeing none, the Secretary will open the roll. Anyone wish to change their vote? Seeing none, the Secretary will close the roll. Yeses are 14, the noes are 6. AB 530 has received the constitutional majority. It is declared passed and ordered to the Assembly.
That concludes Order of Business 13 and the business of the desk for this legislative day.
Order of Business 16, remarks on the floor, introduction of guests. Senator Wynn.
Thank you, Mr. President. Everyone got sick of my voice, so I'm back up here in Order of Business 16, so thank you for that. In celebration of Asian American, Native Hawaiian, and Pacific Islander Heritage Month, I'd like to talk about a really meaningful Vietnamese holiday that commemorates the Hung Kings, the legendary founders of Vietnam. Celebrated on the 10th day of the third lunar month, which actually is not today, it was actually last month, is a day that reflects a Vietnamese proverb. When you drink water, remember the source. It is a reminder to show gratitude for those who came before us. This spirit of honoring our ancestors aligns with American values of civic responsibility and reverence for the past. In Nevada, the Vietnamese American community embodies these values through their cultural traditions and contributions to civic life. As we celebrate AANHPI Heritage Month, we are reminded that civic engagement is a modern form of honoring our heritage by shaping a better future for the next generation. Thank you.
Senator Daley.
Thank you, Mr. President. I have two guests today who are friends of Senator Roran Shaw, who was unable to make it today because of weather in his flight. So we have, you guys want to stand up? Gail Delavadonna and Marion Crouch, if you guys make them feel welcome. Thank you.
Senator Titus.
Thank you, Mr. President. Today marks the 10th anniversary of the McDonald's Archways to Opportunity Program, an education and career advancement initiative designed to support employees in achieving their personal and professional goals. Will all the people representing McDonald's please stand up? Thank you. It offers benefits such as helping eligible employees earn a high school diploma, get money to help pay for college, receive free educational and career advising services, and support with learning English as a second language. In Nevada, McDonald's and its owner-operators have awarded over $2.1 million in high school and college tuition assistance and increased access to education for over 650 participants. Another really important program that McDonald's does that is a personal favorite of mine, is having so many patients patients' family have to access it, is the Ronald McDonald House Charities, which provides support for families with children receiving medical treatment and offering a place to stay during challenging times. There are two primary chapters, with one in Reno and another in Las Vegas, with both aiming to ease emotional and financial burdens for families. And I can testify how important it is to the families that I've taken care of. On the floor today is John and Brendan Shea-Rin, who are joining me. Eric Alt, I'm not sure where he might be. Brent Bowen and Brooke Westbrook and Michelle Hone are here in the building. So thank you, and please give them a warm welcome.
Senator Donate.
Thank you, Mr. President. I have a few guests with me, if you guys can please rise. Today I am joined by my intern, Fernanda, and her parents. Fernanda is a junior at the University of Nevada, Reno. She is pursuing a double major in political science and international affairs. Driven by a deep commitment to justice and advocacy, Fernanda is especially passionate about empowering and serving our underrepresented communities. Her goal is eventually to attend law school here in our state. And I am also proud to introduce her mom, Laura, Fernanda's mother. She was born and raised in Michoacan, Mexico. She's a stay-at-home mom who raised Fernanda and her sister, Leslie, and she loves baking and tending to her numerous plants. And Fernando, who is Fernanda's father, he is a plumber by trade and was also born and raised in Michoacan, Mexico. And Fernanda's parents have been inspiring role models, instilling her a strong work ethic and its determination to pursue her dreams. So please join me in welcoming them to the State Senate.
Senator Buck.
Thank you, Mr. President. As we continue to encourage and grow public charter schools, it is imperative that we also invest in the educators who make these successes possible, who grow student achievement and show positive outcomes. And as we continue the conversation. Equitable teacher compensation is not merely a financial issue. It is a matter of equity, justice, and recognition for the hard work and dedication of these educators. By ensuring that public charter school teachers are fairly compensated with their district colleagues, we are not only improving their quality of life, but also enhancing the quality of education for all students who attend public charter schools. Let us commit as a body to supporting our educators and fostering an environment where both or all teachers and students can thrive.
Senator Cannizzaro.
Thank you, Mr. President. First and foremost, I think it is exceedingly important, and those of you who have heard me speak on this floor have heard me talk a lot about how it is that an education has led me to be able to serve in this body. It is deeply personal to me. My parents did not have a high school education. I didn't know anybody who had graduated from high school or who had gone on to higher education. I didn't know anybody who didn't work a job where you had to wear a uniform to work. I didn't know anybody who knew anything about going to college and law school, but from a young age, I was pretty determined to become a lawyer. But for teachers who cared about me in my classroom, but for the staff that supported them, and but for being able to attend those schools here in Nevada, I would not be standing here on this floor. Every session that I have served in this body, I have sought, and my colleagues have sought, to find ways to improve education. And we have delivered on that promise a number of ways. Every budget that we have had has had continued and growing investment in public schools. That includes public charter schools and includes public district schools. It includes every single child that shows up to get an education at whatever school it is that they find themselves, so that every single student in this state can have those same opportunities, because I fundamentally believe that when you give children opportunities to succeed, they will do so. Not only will they do so, but they will far surpass any expectations that you could have potentially ever have had for them. I believe in that. I have voted accordingly in this body. I also think that it is incumbent for our legislators, as we do committee work and as we seek to fund things in our budgets, that we are able to have robust conversations about things. So if we are going to stand on this floor and talk about how it is that we are funding charter schools, then I would expect that if you believe in making sure that we are supporting educators, that we are allowing students to thrive, and that we are going to support public charter schools, you would also vote for the funding that follows those schools. So if you're not voting for the funding that follows those schools, those words are meaningless. Put your vote where it matters. If you vote against an education budget funding, you are voting against per pupil dollars for public charter schools. That funds their educational materials. It helps to fund all the supplies in the classrooms. It funds the teachers. It funds the staff. It funds the special education students who are sitting in those very seats. It funds every dollar that we are putting into education. So if you vote against that bill, please know that you are voting against public charter schools. Period. There is not another explanation. And by the way, the responsibility that comes with that vote, if we are all to vote no, there is no funding for education. Not for district schools, not for public charter schools, not for any teacher, not for any staff member, not for any kid on an IEP, not for gifted and talented, not for English language learners, not for any student that sits in any classroom here in the state of Nevada. Not just in Clark County, not just in Washoe, not just in Lyon, but in any seat in this state. Period. End of story. So it is not appropriate to wax poetic about hopes and dreams if you're not willing to vote for those things. There are many things that we are doing in this building that we can do two things of. in committee have repeatedly said. So for anybody sitting in education subcommittees in finance or joint full committees in finance and ways and means, listening to education budgets, there has repeatedly been discussion about how it is that we, A, determine the amount of money that should be set aside for charter school teacher raises, B, how it is that we allocate that money, and C, where it appropriately belongs. Districts came before this legislative body last session multiple times to explain all of their funding issues, what a per pupil funding raise would mean, what additional raises would mean. And we had a bill, Senate Bill 231, that funded teacher raises. It was matching funds. Districts came before IFC subcommittee, so for anybody who bothered to watch that, every district had to come, show us how many teachers, how many staff, how much money they were going to be giving, and how much they would be requesting from the state to match those funds so that we could create accountability and transparency. So that on the back end, we could talk about the fact that we have teachers who are making up to 20% more, staff who are making up to 20% more, and the lowering of vacancies in almost every single school district here in this state because teachers were staying in their jobs and because they were able to hire and recruit new people so that every child could walk into a classroom and have a qualified teacher teaching them and the staff to support that. We asked for that information because we believe in accountability and we believe in transparency. The same should be true for charter schools. So if we're all going to engage in this rhetoric, we should be very clear about not only the truth of that, but also where those votes lie. So if you're not voting to fund education, we can't sit up here and talk about how we want to give every kid a chance, because that's not what we're doing. The responsibility that comes if we all take that vote is that there is no funding for education, period. And if we can't have two conversations at the same time, then it is very difficult to do the job of a legislator. I believe in public education, in whatever form that comes. I believe every kid deserves a chance. And if this state hadn't taken a chance on a kid like me, I wouldn't be standing here today. And I know there are so many that fall right in that same category. So for every day that I am in this building, I will continue to fight to make sure that every kid gets an education. Thank you, Mr. President, for allowing me the time. And with that, I would move that the Senate, to allow time for our committees to do their work, stand in adjournment until the hour of 11 a.m. on Thursday, May 15th, 2025.
Thank you. You've heard the motion. All those in favor signify by saying aye. Opposed, nay. Motion carries. We are adjourned.